Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode here in NHL 22. So in last episode, we simulated the rest of the season. We did not make any trades, and our team finished pretty good, 49-25-8. We had one of the best offenses in the league, and it was an insane season again from Tyler Agostino, Michkov, those type of players, like our top six in general. And yeah, basically down the stretch, I figured out that basically Agostino, in his last 41 games of the season, picked up 61 points, which is actually insane. And that's how he finished with 108 points, which was 12 more points than the next closest in Michkov. But as you can see, we just had a really good season offensively. We had like all these guys above 70 points. And then goal scoring wise, you could see that we had 340 goal scorers. We had a bunch over 30, a bunch over 20 goals as well. So pretty much everybody on this team just contributed really well. And I'm really hoping that we could continue to do that in the playoffs, because I'd like to go for that third Stanley Cup if we can. Defensively, this is where we weren't as good offensively, but we were really rock solid defensively. A lot of good plus minuses on the team. And then goalie-wise, this is probably the biggest question mark we have going into the playoffs. We don't really know which of these two goalies is going to be the better of the two. Galiev has had some really good playoff numbers in the past, so I'm really hoping that he could do that again this year. Korea kind of had a little bit of a rough season in some stages, but at least he picked up like 2 shutouts. So should be interesting to see which one of these two goalies ends up being our starter in the playoffs. But I'll probably start with Galiev just because from the prior playoffs we've had before, you could see that he's been an insane goalie. So I'm really hoping that he could do that again this postseason. But anyways, before we get into game number 1, let's take a look again at that Nashville Predators roster just in case you forget. But we have played them in the last, I think it was last season. I believe it was close to the conference finals, or maybe it was the conference finals. But as you can see, they got Estrada, Kolyakovo, and Coyle, which is a pretty solid top line. Second line of Krebs, Howes, and Tyrell. Third line of Robertson, Ortmeyer, and Pierce. And a fourth line of Jost, the other Robertson, and Boquist. So I really do like their forward core. Might be one of the best forward cores I've seen an AI team put together. Now, it is a bit weak to have an 81 up here, but this guy does have X factors, so that's really interesting, especially considering he's got bottom 6 potential, so I guess he just never reached his potential, but still, this guy's got some X factors. And then defensively, they have some good pieces like Versteeg, for example, Guerrero, and Boumedienne. Samuelson's not bad for top 6, and then Hronik's not bad either, but Armzen's a little bit weak, but he's still a younger defenseman, so in general, their defensive core is not the worst thing I've ever seen. And then goalie-wise, they have Lacroix as their starter, so they actually have a legitimate starter and a weakish backup. And then not the greatest depth, I'd say, except for Philip Hedl. So it should be interesting to see who ends up coming on top, because I really would like to get to that Cup Finals again. We've been at 3 straight Cup Finals, coming off a loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins in that Cup Finals last year. We want to try and find our way to get another Stanley Cup, because if we can't do this year, I feel like we're going to end up losing some big players in the offseason, and I don't know if we're going to start getting that opportunity to win a cup again, because more than likely we're going to be losing Matthews to retirement, I'd say, or we might end up losing him just in general. Guys like Shishkinov are going to want a lot of money this offseason, so it's going to be hard to keep him around. We might end up losing Calvin Shelley, which would be kind of detrimental, but we do have a good replacement in Kagorodov for that second line. Also, Bentley might be demanding a lot. McCarr's probably going to end up retiring. Guys like McGillis and stuff like that on the fourth line might want a lot. But in general, this team should be still set up decently for some success. So I'm hoping that we have a good playoff run anyways, and see if we can win another Stanley Cup. So let's get into game number 1 and see what happens. See if we can find our way back to that second round again. And then we'll just go on from there. Last time we played Nashville, we lost to them in a shootout, apparently. So here we go. Let's get into game 1. We got home ice advantage. Let's see what the boys could do here. Come on, boys. We got the experience. First period, 1-0 us. I'll definitely take that. I don't know who's starting in net, actually. I meant to start Galiev, so if it's Korea, he had a pretty solid first period. Michkov opens the scoring, though, which is good. Always nice to see the top line getting the offense, because that usually is the case. Shots are 12-11 in favor of us. Second period, 2-2, yikes. So that's not as good of a period. Tyrell ties the game up on Korea. Michkov then gives us back the lead, so Michkov has both of our goals so far. And then Howes would tie the game up. Shots are 24-20 in favor of us, but it's a 2-2 game. Let's see what happens in this third period. Come on, boys. Penalty kill. Nicely done. But yeah, I might turn to Galiev potentially in a future game. Long power play opportunity for us, but we do not convert. That's not good. Come on, guys. Who wants to be a hero? Or are we going to overtime in game 1? We are going to be going overtime in game 1. Not a surprise considering both these teams only finished a point behind, or point around each other, I should say. Shots are 34-27 in favor of us, probably because of that power play we had that we didn't convert on. Let's see what happens here in OT. See if we could get a big hero for us here in game 1. And yes, we are. Let's go. Cale Makar. Okay, the guy that we actually brought in the offseason via trade. He contributes with a big goal in game 1 as we take a 1-0 series lead. Shots were 36-28 at the end of it too. So a pretty tight game, which is what I was kind of expecting with the standings and all that. But Michkov from Matthews and Agostino. Michkov from Matthews and Sasaki, and Makar from Shishkinov and Geeky. So in Matthews' playoff debut, he picks up a couple assists, which is pretty good. Any minus players in that game? Probably not. Yeah, no minus players, not a surprise. And a pretty solid playoff performance from Korea, which is not really what I was expecting, because I'm pretty sure last year we tried playing Korea in the playoffs, and he was not the best, if I'm not mistaken. So Michkov gets first star with 2 goals, and then Korea the second star with a good 26 saves, and Cale Makar with the game winner in OT gets the 3rd star. So I guess we'll keep with Korea for now, but if Korea starts playing bad, then we will probably turn to Galiev, just because we know Galiev could also do good in the playoffs. So we kind of have a good situation where we could kind of rely on any of these 2 goalies. Just because I feel like they're almost better than any 83 goalies that we've had before in the past, like Beauregard and whatnot. So, game number 2 still on home ice. Let's see if we could take a 2-0 series lead here on the Preds. Not going to make any line changes. First period, 1-0 for Nashville. That's not great. And we were outshot 15-4. So, Korea is definitely keeping us in this game right now. So, Kirk Estrada with that only goal after the first period. Let's see if we could get our offense going, because Michkov is really the only guy that's been scoring so far. Like, we need that depth scoring of, like, Shelley, Kagorodov, Shishkinov, those type of guys to step up in the second period if that's possible. Second period? Ooh, 3-0 Preds. That's not good. Tyrell scores 2 goals in the second period. We're being outshot 28-16. That's not good. That is not good. At this rate, it looks like the series is going to get tied up, headed to Nashville, so we might make some changes for Game 3. Let's see what happens in this third period. See if we can get something to get our legs going for next game as Jost makes it 4-0. Not a great game from Korea, but he is getting peppered in shots, so I wouldn't blame him. Shelley makes it a 4-1 game, so at least that's a goal for us. But yeah, the series is going to be tied, headed to Nashville. Definitely got to find a way to bounce back from this game. As, yeah, we lose 4-1 in Game 2. Final shots were 40-28, and our only goal coming from Mr. Shelley. Shelley from Makar and Matthews. So it seems like our trade deadline, or not trade deadline, our acquisitions last offseason are helping out, which is good. But any badly minus players in that game? The 4th line, it looks like. Spalling. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take Spalling out of the lineup next game. He was really good down the stretch offensively, but I just want to take him out and throw in Penner probably on that 4th line. Okay, let's advance to the next game. I think I'm also going to turn to Galiev, just because if a goalie loses, then might as well flip to the next goalie. But yeah, hopefully Matthews could start scoring some goals, because he's not been as much of a goal scorer with this team as I was originally hoping. So yeah, we're going to take Spalling out, and we will throw in Penner, which should be fine. Do we want to make any other changes? Kagorodov is definitely a good goal scorer, but he's not doing really much right now. I don't know if this will give any chemistry boost. Doesn't seem like it. I could try Matthews on the second line, but let's try and flip some things around a bit. Yeah, let's try moving this around. Hordachuk and Burkov. And then, yeah, Galiev will start. Just because we might as well give Korea and Galiev as much of the same amount of ice time as possible, since they're both the same overall. So, a couple line changes going into Game 3. We have a 1-1 series. Let's see if we could take a 2-1 series lead here. We need some big wins on the road here. Come on, boys. First period, 2-2. Yikes. Not good defensively, but at least we're scoring goals this time around. So, a shorthanded goal from Armsden, which is that low 77 defenseman, I believe. Pennerden scores after he got punted into the lineup, so that's really good. And then McGillis scores, so the fourth line is kind of waking up offensively, which is good to see. Our depth is actually showing up. And then Estrada tied it up with a power play goal. So not a great first period from Galiev, 2 goals on 8 shots, which is kind of uncharacteristic of him, so hopefully he could bounce back in the second. Second period, 5-3 for us. Let's go. 3 straight goals. So Mishkov gets a power play goal, Bentley scores, and Agostino scores. So it seems like all of our lines are contributing so far in this first round, which is really good to see, because that's obviously what you want when you're in the playoffs. You need that depth scoring if you want to win games, because maybe for some reason some guy on the top line's not doing well. You need your third liners and your fourth liners to do stuff too. And then Jost made it a 5-3 game. Shots are 31-14 in favor of us, so they have 3 goals on 14 shots, which I'm still not really that fond of. So I don't really know what's going through Galiev's head right now, because normally he's a good playoff goalie, but maybe he's just a little quiet right now. Maybe he'll pick it up eventually. Let's see what happens here in this third period, see if we can add some insurance to this lead. Penalty kill. Nicely done. Come on, boys. Come on. Let's lock this game down. There you go. Burkov makes it 6-3 as they changed goalies over to their 76 overall goaltender. And we are going to be taking a 2-1 series lead here with a big road victory. Geeky makes it 7-3. Pierce makes it 7-4. And that is your final. Final shots were 41-30, so they actually had a lot of chances, it seems like, in the third period. But we win 7-4. So Penner from Ustorf and McGillis. McGillis from Ustorf and Penner. So those two... that fourth line really helped us out in that first period. And then Mishkov from Agostino and Matthews, Bentley from McIntyre, Agostino from Burkov and Matthews, Burkov from Mishkov and Agostino, and Geeky from Shishkinov and Makar. So, yeah, those acquisitions from last year's offseason really helping out in terms of Matthews and Makar. But, like, look at all these points from everybody in our lineup. Like, everybody in the team had points, except for Kagorodov, which is kind of surprising. Jankomaz was a +4 at least. Bilesman had no points. Zaki, Hordachuk, and Shelley had no points. So a couple big guys off the score sheet. And yeah, not the greatest performance from Gallia, but we got the win. So Agostino first star with 3 points. McGillis the second star with 2 points and 4 hits. And Burkov the third star with 2 points. Interesting. So we're up 2-1, which is good. Can we take a 3-1 stranglehold on Nashville with another road game? I am going to go back to Korea if the game already didn't do that, just because, yeah, that was not the best game from Galiev, so let's go back to goaltending. Yeah, we're going to go back to Korea for this game for sure. The question is Kagorodov needing more ice time in order to perform? Because after having 42 goals in the regular season and 81 points, you'd think he would start picking up points here in the playoffs, but he has no points in 3 games. Which is kind of questionable. I don't want to move Shelley necessarily down. But Shelley's been kind of quiet as well. So maybe both of them need a little bit of a change up. So we'll do that. And then special teams wise, we're going to flip Shelley up here and move Kagorodov down to here. Just because I want to make sure both those guys get their ice time that they need. And that should be good. We're going to only make that small little adjustment between Kagorodov and Shelley and see if they could get going a little bit on a different line. I know it's weird to play Shelley on the third line, but he's only got the 1 goal in 3 games, and Kagorodov's got nothing, and I need Kagorodov to get going because this team has been doing pretty good offensively in the series. It's just he's been one of the quiet guys, so got to find a way to wake them up, and then if we could get ourselves to the second round, that'd be good. So here you go, game number 4. Can we take a 3-1 series lead on the Preds? Come on, boys. First period, 2-0 us. Let's go. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Burkov scores a power play goal, and then Mishkov scores. Shots are 10-10, but it's a 2-0 game for us, so not a bad offensive period, and a pretty solid defensive one. Second period, 5-1 us. Let's go. there's the offense I needed. Kagorodov scores, so he gets moved up to the second line and gets a goal. Estrada then got them a goal. But then Shelley scores, so it seems like swapping Shelley and Kagorodov might have helped a bit. I don't know. And then McIntyre scores as well. Shots are 20 apiece, so it's been very even 2 periods. Both teams have been shooting each other 10-10 after the first 2 periods. It's a 5-1 game, though, for us. So we have 5 goals on 20 shots. Let's lock this one down and take a 3-1 series lead here if we can. Penalty kill, nicely done. But yeah, our offense has been really good in terms of the depth scoring. And it's good to see Kagorodov woke up after that change. I might change it back just to see if it continues to impact the game or not. And yep, we're going to win 5-1 in Game 4. And we are 1 win away from going back to the second round, which is great. So Burkov from Shishkinov and Kagorodov. Michkov from Matthews. Kagorodov from Shishkinov and Geeky. Shelley from Bentley and McIntyre. And then McIntyre from Shelley and Bentley. Nice. Any badly minus players in that game? Probably not. Yeah, no minus players hardly. Yeah, a lot of good depth scoring. And another good performance again from Guillermo Correa, who's running away with the starting job here in the playoffs. So, Correa first star, McIntyre to second, and Shelley to third. I don't know if I like putting Shelley all the way down on the third line. It was the only thing. So I think I'm going to just move it back to where it was, even though we just won that game. Just to kind of see if it maybe have just woke them up a little bit. Just because I like that +5 on that third line a little bit better. And then we'll go back to here and flop this around a little bit again. And that should be good. But yeah, in general, see like our entire lineup is picking up points. So that's pretty damn good when that happens. And then defensively, not as much points from the back end, but it's okay. And then goaltending has been awesome from Korea so far. So let's keep her rolling. And let's see if we could win the series on home ice. Matthews is leading us with 6 assists in 4 games. He has no goals so far for us, but maybe he'll score here. Let's see what happens. Game 5. See if we can knock out the Preds. First period, 3-1 us. Let's go. This offense has been awesome so far. I really like it. McIntyre, Agostino, and Geeky. Kolyakovo did score for them, though. Shots are 13-9 in favor of us. Second period, 6-1. Wow, what an offensive series for us. Holy crap. If we continue to do this in the second round, we could steamroll a lot of teams. Mishkov, Shelley, and Geeky score, so Shelley's definitely waking up a bit. Kagorodov's still a little bit quiet. Shots are 24-16 or 24-14, my god, in favor of us. Let's just lock this one down and close out this series. But after game 1, this series was not really that close, I'd say. Well, actually, after game 2, I should say more because they won that game. But still, the last few games that we've won, we've just been obviously dominating them offensively. Howes makes it 6-2. And that is going to be your final as we're headed back to the second round for the 4th straight season, which is awesome. Another good offensive performance. So McIntyre from Bentley and Utstorf. Agostino from Matthews and Michkov. And then Geeky from Shelley and Hordachuk. Michkov from Sasaki and Agostino. Shelley from Shishkinov and Geeky. And Geeky from Shishkinov and Shelley. So Shelley with a really good series, I think. Probably around 6 points. So Geeky the first star, Shelley the second, and Agostino the third. Pretty damn good. So there is that. And how was our first round in terms of depth scoring is what I'm wondering. So we win that series in 5 games. I wonder who we're going to be facing in the second round. But first, before that, let's take a look at our player stats throughout that first round. And let's start off with our centers. So Austin Matthews, no goals in 5 games, which is a bit weird. But 7 assists is really good. +5. He only had 6 shots in 5 games as well, so he's not shooting the puck as much as he used to. Probably because Michkov's on the top line. Geeky, 6 points in 5 games is really good from him. Bentley, 4 points in 5 games, like that. Penner had 2 points in 3 games, so he's been definitely better than Spalling. No offense to Carl. Left wing wise, Agostino, 6 points, 5 games, awesome as usual. Shishkinov had 6 assists in 5 games, no goals, but still. McIntyre, 4 points in 5 games is also really good, and then McGill's 2 points. Right wing wise, Michkov, 5 goals, 2 assists, and 7 points in 5 games. He's doing what he normally does in the playoffs. Shelley, 6 points in 5 games is really good. Kind of woke up a little bit. Usarov, 3 assists in 5 games. And then Kegorodov was really quiet for a change, which is kind of weird. Because like I said, he had 42 goals in the regular season, 81 points. And he only picks up 1 goal in 5 games in the postseason so far. So I hope he wakes up in the second round. Defensively, Burkov, 3 points in 5 games, +6, which is great. Nakar, 3 points in 5 games. Sasaki, 2 points. Hordichuk, 1 point. And then nothing from Jankomovs and Bilesma, but at least their plus-minus is good. And in goaltending-wise, Korea, 3-1 with a .928 and a 2.23. So I definitely think he should start the next round. But if for some reason he doesn't do good again, we could try Galiev again and see if Galiev can wake up, because this is definitely his worst playoff performance so far, even though he did win 1 game in that first round. So there is that. Very good depth scoring for the first round of the playoffs. Who are we playing for round 2 is the question. We got a couple days off in between games, which is good, or series I should say as well. And we're going to be taking on the Colorado Avalanche again. I think we played literally Colorado 3 straight years in the second round, which is kind of funny. So we're not going to have home ice advantage for the series, which is interesting because they finished just a little bit above us. But they do have Stefan Pettersson, so that's a former goalie of ours again. They are 3-5-2 going into the playoffs, so that's a bit scary considering how good they finished. I really hope that they don't knock us out now, because we played them so many times already in the playoffs before. But let's take a look at what they got. So, first line, Johnny Vigilante, which I don't remember if they had last year. Yeah, they did have him, okay. They also have Tristan Festerling and Mikko Rantanen, who's dropping off a lot. He's probably going to retire this year. Second line-wise, they have Lucas Raymond, 84 overall, with Elias Lindholm, who's still playing at 40 years of age, and Alex Newhook. So, a very old top 6. Everyone in the top 6 is 28 and above. Most of them are in their 30s, it looks like. Third line has Jeffrey Connor with Elijah Siu. And, oh yeah, we forgot we made this trade with Colorado. Oh, I forgot about making that McCarr trade with Colorado. This is going to be very interesting. Emiliano Redmond, how was his season in Colorado? Only 6 goals. Wow. But 32 points. Interesting. So he's not off to the best start in Colorado, but that's interesting. How is he doing in the playoffs? 2 points in 7 games. So it doesn't seem like they have the best depth scoring so far this postseason. And in fourth line, they have Jake Chain with Nick Schmaltz, who used to play with us way back, and Connor McLennan. So overall-wise, it's a very old forward core, but it's still pretty solid. A little bit weak in terms of center depth, I'd say. But in general, it's an okay team. Defensively, though, this is where they're a little bit stronger. They got Bowen Byram and Bodie Wild. They also have Ludwig Janssen and Josh Mahura. And look who it is. It's also Mika Tukinen, who we traded away as part of that Cale McCarr trade. How was his season in Colorado? 32 points. Wow, he had a career year. So that's good for him. Happy to see that for him. Plus 21 as well. Not too bad. How was his playoff numbers so far? 3 assists in the first round. Okay. Yeah, not bad from Tukinen. He's definitely been the better of the two in terms of him and Redmond. And he's been only playing on the top 6 as well, so. And they also have Stu Smith. Interesting. Goalie-wise, Stefan Pettersson, of course. Our former goalie as well. Had a really good season. And playoff-wise so far, they must have been really bad defensively, but they managed to get off to the second round. 882 save percentage and a 3.14. That's not great for the playoffs. Compared to like the last few years when we played them, he's usually been a lot better. And then Frolov is their backup. That's interesting. And in depth-wise, they have another former player in Uriel Gallant. They also have Cody Glass and Alex Formanton. So a lot of former players on this Avs team, and it's going to be very interesting to see if we can beat our former players in Redmond, Tukinen, and Pettersson, because I completely forgot about that trade, sending players there and whatnot. Winner of this series will face the winner of Seattle and Los Angeles, so Jacob Chikrin is off to the second round again. So that's interesting. There's also Buffalo and Florida over there in East, and New Jersey and Columbus. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode. So next episode, we'll take it to the second round as we look to knock out our former players in Colorado and get ourselves back to that conference finals. So I guess think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.